Good morning, friends. I welcome you all for my online learning sessions. Right. So, past few classes we have been discussing about matrices, as we all know. Right. So, in previous class we have solved up to 18 problem from exercise 3.2. So now let us start with the next problem, that is 19th one. This is a little bit different. Problem is very simple, but it is given in terms of sentences. The problem here is given in terms of sentences, and to solve this you should have a minimum small basic idea about accountings. Okay, so let us start with this. What is given here? A trust fund has rupees 30,000. A trust fund is having rupees 30,000 invested in two different bonds. Bonds means different schemes, right? So here there is a trust which is having 30,000 amount, 30,000 rupees, and it has invested that 30,000 rupees in two different bonds. It has invested that 30,000 rupees in two different bonds, right? So let us see what are the different bonds, or what are the schemes, how much they will pay. If there is any investment, definitely there will be return back. If there is no return back, then there is no investment, right? So as this trust has invested in two different schemes, right, and two different schemes provide different benefits, right, different returns and different terms and conditions. Let us see what are the returns about both the bonds. First bond is paying 5% interest per year. First bond is paying 5% interest per year, and second bond pays 7% interest per year. Second bond pays 7% interest per year. What should we do here is, we should use matrix multiplication to divide this 30,000 rupees. This 30,000 is to be invested in both the schemes, right? So it is not compulsory that equal amount is to be invested. Based upon the requirement, the amount will have to be invested. So what we should do here is, we should use matrix multiplication process and determine how this 30,000 is to be divided among two bonds. How this 30,000 is to be divided among two bonds, right? So what is the condition? If there is no condition, you can divide it as if you want, but there should be some condition. What are the condition here? The amount should be divided and distributed in both the trust such a way that annually you get rupees 1800 rupees as interest. Is that clear? So if you are dividing 30,000 rupees in two bonds, two schemes, and investing in them, right? So in first case you should get 1800 rupees as your interest amount in 1 year, and in second case you should get 2000 rupees as your interest amount in 1 year. Or in simple words, if you want to get 1800 rupees as a interest, how much amount out of this 30,000, how much should be invested in first bond and how much should be invested in second bond, right? Is that clear? If you want to earn 1800 rupees interest per year, then from this 30,000 rupees, you need to earn 1800 rupees interest per year from this 30,000 rupees. Then how much of this 30,000 should be invested in bond 1 and how much of that 30,000 should be invested in bond 2. Similarly, if you want to earn 2000 rupees rate of interest, how much of this 30,000 should be invested in bond A or first bond, and how much of this 30,000 should be invested in bond B or second bond. Okay, let us see about that. So we don't know how much amount we are investing. If we are able to calculate the amount invested in first bond, then definitely we will be able to calculate the amount invested in second bond, right? Here our work is to find out the amount invested in first bond. Once we find out the amount invested in first bond, once we get that value, then it is easy to calculate the second value. For example, after doing some calculation, if we get 5,000 as the amount invested in first bond, then what will be the amount invested in second bond? That will be 30,000 minus 5,000, 25,000. So if you come to know, if you are able to calculate the amount invested in first bond, then definitely you can calculate the amount invested in second bond. Okay, so we should assume some parameters. Let us assume that X is the money invested in first bond, right? We are investing rupees X in first bond. Then what will be the amount invested in second bond? 30,000 minus X. If X is invested in first bond, then second bond the amount invested will be 30,000 minus X. right? So the sum of money invested in second bond will be 30,000 minus X. So first bond is paying us 5% interest and second bond is paying us 7% interest. And there should be some formula to calculate the interest provided. So that interest, simple interest, can be calculated with this formula: principal into rate divided by 100. What is this principal? Amount we are investing. Okay, this principal is the amount we are investing in first bond, if you are calculating for first bond, right? Okay, so here, coming to this 1800 rupees, I hope up to here it is clear. Coming to this 1800 rupees, first we will solve for this 1800, then we will look after that 2000 rupees. If we want to earn an amount of 1800 as an interest in 1 year, then let us see how much should be invested in first bond and how much should be invested in second bond, right? So in order to get an annual interest of 1800 rupees, so we should frame this in matrix form, right? So in first matrix you will find the rows, it is a row matrix, and second matrix will be the column matrix, right? So in row matrix you will have the amount invested. In first matrix represent the amount invested in different bonds. First matrix will represent the amount invested in different bond. In first bond it is the value is X. In second bond the value invested is 30,000 minus X, right? And second matrix is a column matrix which will indicate about the interest paid by the bond, which will inform about the interest paid by the bonds. So what is the interest paid by first bond? 5%, right? Percentage we always know it is divided by 100. If it is 5%, then total value will be 500 divided 5 by 100. If it is 7%, then the actual value will be 7 by 100. Whenever we speak about percent, it is always divided by 100. So second column represents the percentage and second matrix represents the percentage and first matrix will represent the amount paid, right? So now how do you multiply this one? Matrix multiplication, right? First row into first column. This is 1 cross 2, this is 2 cross 1. So the matrix will be 1 cross 1 matrix, right? X into 5 divided by 100 plus 30,000 minus X into 7 by 100. First row into first column. What is that? X into 5 by 100, that is 5x by 100. Then 30,000 minus X into 7 by 100, that is 7 into 30,000 minus X divided by 100, right? Whether you represent it in matrix form or without matrix is okay. Why? Because there is only one element and 1800 as it is. So what is the LCM? 5x plus this whole thing, 7 into 30,000, that is 2,10,000 minus 7 into x whole divided by 100 is the LCM, okay, and that will be equal to 1800. Now what is 5x minus 7x? Minus 2x plus 2,10,000 as it is. If this 100 gets multiplied here, it becomes 1,80,000. Take this 100 on the other side, it gets multiplied with 1800. Now shift this 2x on the other side and bring 1,80,000 on the left hand side. Shift this 2x on right hand side and bring this 1,80,000 on the right hand side. Then what you will get? Shifting 2x on the other side, it will be plus 2x, right? It will be 2,10,000 minus 1,80,000. So 2x is equal to 30,000. So x will be equal to 15,000. X will be equal to what? 15,000 rupees. So 15,000 rupees should be invested in first bond, right? So if 15,000 is to be invested in first bond, then what will be the amount invested in second bond? Total amount is 30,000. So first bond we are investing 15,000 rupees. X is 15,000. Then what will be the amount in second bond? 30,000 minus X. That also will be 15,000, right? So you should invest 15,000 in bond 1 and you should invest 15,000 in bond 2. Is that clear? So this is about how to solve the problem. First one I have solved, second one you take it as homework. You can solve it by yourself, right? I hope this thing is clear, right? So here first matrix will represent the amount invested in different bonds, and second matrix will represent the interest paid by different bonds. Okay, and the formula used is principal into rate by 100. Okay, so fine, this is, you can see here what is principal, we have assumed it as x, what is the rate of interest, 5, and divided by 100. Right, here also you can see principal invested is what, 30,000 minus x, rate of interest is 7, divided by 100. So this obeys this formula, right? So this matrix is according to this formula. Is that clear? So what you should do is, first one I have solved, second one you just replace 1800 by 2000. LHS part will remain same. LHS part will remain same, but just replace this 2000 by 1800 by 2000 rupees. Okay. So whatever answer you get, you comment me in the comment box. If ever you get any difficulties, that also you can comment me. Okay, I'll get back to you. Okay. So now you pause this video, take down the notes. So friends, that was all about that previous problem what we have solved. So you came to know how to frame the matrix when it is given in the form of sentence, right? So now there is another question which is also given in the form of sentence. What they say here is, a bookshop of particular school is having 10 dozen of chemistry books, 8 dozen of physics books, and 10 dozen of economic books. They are selling at the price of 80, 60 and 40 respectively, right? That is, chemistry is sold at 80 rupees each book, physics 60 rupees each, and economics 40 rupees each. So what you need to find here is, what is the total amount the bookshop will receive with the help of selling these books according to your matrix algebra. You need to solve this according to the matrix method, right? If you see, if the bookshop sells all these books, what is the total amount he is going to get, right? Not the profit, amount he is going to get, right? So you need to solve this compulsorily by matrix method. So what is the hint of that? What is profit, right? So it's not profit, total amount, sorry, it's not profit. You can write it as amount earned. So what will be the amount earned? Total number of books sold into selling price. This is a common formula, but we need to solve it by matrix method. So here is a hint to solve it. So accordingly you solve it by considering this hint. So what is total number of chemistry books? There are 10 dozen. So 10 into 12, it is 120. So total how many books are there in chemistry? 120 books are there in chemistry. So about physics, how many books are there? 8 dozen. That is 8 into 12, that is 96 books. Similarly for economics, we have 10 dozen, that is nothing but equal to 120 books. Now what you need to do is, arrange this number of books. Take the number of books in first matrix and take the amount. Take this amount in second matrix. Take the number of books, that is 120, 96 and 120 in first matrix, and take the number of books in, number of total amount in second matrix, right? As we have done, first will be row matrix, second one will be column matrix, and then you multiply. So whatever answer you are going to get, that will be your total amount earned. But if you are using, if your first element is 120 books, that is for chemistry, then you should consider the price given here for chemistry, right? So if your second element in first matrix is physics, then in second matrix also second element should be amount related to physics. So in that way you take the matrices and solve it, so you are going to get the answer, right? So you try this and comment me the answer in the comment box. Okay, so make a note of that question. So friends, I hope you have taken down the previous problem. Okay, I hope there is no doubt in that. So let's proceed to next problem. So 21 and 22nd problem, 21st and 22nd problem are objective based problems. right? As we know in each and every chapters of your NCERT book, at the end one or two problems will be objective based. So here comes your objective based question. There is first objective based question. What is the question here is the restriction on NKP so that Py plus Wy will be well defined. The restriction on NKP so that Py plus Wy will be well defined. Okay. So what are this Py and Wy? They have given it here. X, Y, Z, W and P are the matrices of order 2 cross N, 3 cross K, 2 cross P, N cross 3 and P cross K respectively. That means order of matrix X is 2 cross N, order of matrix Y is 3 cross K, order of matrix Z is 2 cross P, order of matrix W is N cross 3 and order of matrix P is P cross K. Capital P represents the matrix, small p represents the order, right? That is row of the matrix P. So what we should do here with this information, what should we do here is the restriction on NKP so that Py plus Wy will be well defined. So we should find the values of Nk and P, right? Nk and P so that Py plus Wy will be well defined, right? So this Py, these are the matrices, this NKP are the order of the matrices, right? So we should find the value of those NKP so that matrix P into matrix Y plus matrix W into matrix Y will be well defined. What do you mean by well defined? When you say well defined for Py, that means number of columns of P should be equal to number of row of Y. When you say Py is well defined, that means order of P should be suitable with multiplication for order of Y, right? So that means the number of columns of P should be equal to number of columns of Y. And similarly, if Wy is well defined, the number of columns of W should be equal to number of columns of Y. Okay, so let's see here. See what is matrix P and Y. What is the order of matrix P? Order of matrix P is P cross K. And what is the order of matrix Y? That is 3 cross K. Right? Order of matrix P is P cross K and order of matrix Y is 3 cross K. So now if P into Y is to be well defined, then number of columns of P should be equal to number of row of Y. Correct? So if P and Y should be well defined, then number of column of P should be equal to number of row of Y. What is number of column of P? See, matrix P is of order P cross K, right? And Y is of order 3 cross K. If P into Y should be well defined, then number of columns of P should be equal to number of row of Y. What is the column of P? That is K. What is row of Y? That is 3. So this K should be equal to 3. If K is equal to 3, then only P into Y will be defined. Is that clear? If K is not equal to 3, then P into Y is not defined. So with that restriction, with that information, we can say that K is equal to 3. That is, matrix P and Y will be well defined if K is equal to 3. And this is for P, this is for Y. It is well defined only when K is equal to 3. And what will be the order of final matrix PY? That will be P cross K. Right? If you multiply, what will be the order of the resultant matrix? That is Py matrix, that will be P cross K. So the order of the matrix Py will be of P cross K. So we got the order of this matrix, that is P cross K. Now similarly W into Y, as I said, they are well defined only if number of columns of W are equal to number of column of Y, number of rows of Y. What is number of columns of W? Order is n cross 3, so number of column is 3. And what is number of rows in Y? Order is 3 cross K, so it is 3. So as number of columns here is equal to number of rows, number of columns of W are equal to number of rows of Y. So W into Y will be well defined. You can see matrix W and Y are of order n cross 3 and 3 cross k. Right? Number of columns here is equal to number of rows here. So W into Y will be well defined. W into Y will be well defined. Also, what will be the order of the matrix W into Y? That is n cross k. Order of the matrix W into Y is what? N cross k. Right? So order of the matrix W into Y is equal to n cross k. What is the order of matrix P into Y? That is P cross k. Order of matrix P into Y is equal to P cross k. Order of matrix W into Y is equal to n cross k. So now Py is added to Wy. Py is added to Wy. So when two matrices are added, what is the condition? Their order should be equal. Their order should be equal. What is order of this Py? Order of Py is P cross k. Right? What is the order of Wy? N cross k. So number of rows of Py should be equal to number of rows of Wy. Number of columns of Py should be equal to number of columns of Wy. Right? So here number of rows is n. Here number of rows is p. Here number of rows is k. There also k. That k and k are equal. The columns are equal. So similarly rows also should be equal. So what we will get from this information? We will get the information of n is equal to p. We can say that from this n is equal to p. Right? So because in addition of matrices, it is compulsory that the order of both the matrices should be equal. So with that consideration, we can say that n is equal to p. Because the order here is n cross k, the order here is p cross k. So n should be equal to p. Okay. So p is equal to again or n is equal to p. Here we got that k is equal to 3. Right. And here we got that p is equal to n. So which is option? K is equal to 3 and p is equal to 1. Option A is your right answer. Okay. So take it down. Pause this now video and take the notes down. Okay friends, I hope you have understood the previous problem. So let us proceed to the last problem of this exercise. Right? So same condition, x, y, z, w and p are matrices of the given order as it was there in the previous problem. Same thing will be here. Right? But what is the condition here? If n is equal to p, right? These n and p are order of some matrices. Right? If this n is equal to p, then order of matrix 7x minus 5z is. Here x and z are matrices and n and p are row or column of some matrices. Okay. So 7x minus 5z, what is the order of that particular matrix? Okay. So 7x means 7 multiplied to some matrix x. So whatever will be the order of x, that will be the order of 7x. Similarly, whatever will be the order of z, that will be the order of 5z. Right? And you know, once you get the order of 7x and once you are aware of the order of 5z, right? So then what is the condition for addition or difference of the matrices is already discussed in previous videos. Right? So according to that, so you have to find the order of this matrix. So options are also given. I have also given the hint how to solve it. Alright. I have given the information about problem. So you try it out by yourself. Okay. So whatever answer you get, you comment me in the comment box. Okay. So with this your second exercise is finished. So we'll wind up the session here. In upcoming session we'll discuss about some different topics of matrices. There are transpose of matrix, adjoint of matrix. All the things we'll be discussing in the next sessions. So for today's session, this much is more than enough. Right. So we have finished the exercise. So go through the problems, so go through the solutions, videos, everything. Wherever you find any doubt, you comment me or you can ask the queries in the comment box. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay, so pause the video, take down the question. Okay, thank you.